everything from corporate finance in a big corporation to Wall Street jobs, investment banking, doing financial analysis work, working in financial institutions like banks or money market centers. Really a full range. You can do accounting, you can do consulting, you can do international finance. So really with finance, the range is pretty broad. Finance department's paired with our career connections in the business school to do a series of programs. We have senior conferences in finance, we have panels, finance panels, we have career nights, we have guest speakers coming in. We also have different clubs that finance students can get involved in, like the finance club, like the investment club. The investment club is one of the more unique ones in the sense that students use and invest their own money. And it's a couple $100, it might not be $150 or something like that, but you're investing real live money. And it's the students who are doing the research and who are investing the money. So it's its own entity and it's all student run. You're not dealing with a professional money manager. Logical mind, a little bit better with numbers than less better with numbers. It's more quantitative, but even though it's more quantitative, you still have to understand the foundations of finance and the building blocks. So even if you're not the strongest person quantitatively, if you can get the foundations and the building blocks around you, you can still have a finance career. Finance is an area where you see a lot of opportunities that way. It's a good training ground for the prospective finance worker. It gives the student the opportunity and the exposures. There are both paid internships and unpaid internships, covering a full range of gamuts from financial services and products to working with private equity and investment banking. Every student starts in the B School with their B Corp Finance, B Corp 2200 Intro to Finance. That's where they first get the exposure. Then if you go into finance, you need to take corporate finance, Finance 3010. All finance majors are required to take that. And in reality, that's the type of course that any business major would get a huge benefit from if they took. That's the only required finance course for a finance major, but runs the full spectrum of courses from there, from courses in financial markets and institutions to derivatives to investment and portfolio management to capital investment analysis, where you're valuing publicly traded companies, and the investment banking and investment management seminars. It's a great opportunity. Michael Palmer, who's been teaching that thing for many, many moons, and it's a 5-week seminar in the summertime, and you spend the time over there. You're learning about financial markets, international finance, from not an American-based perspective, but over in London, in the UK, in Great Britain. And final presentation is it's like a 20 to 30-page research project, but you're exposed to all the financial workings over there in London. It creates a whole different perspective, because many of our students are aware of how Wall Street works here in New York, the New York Stock Exchange. They learn a different perspective over there in London. MBAs create a little bit more leverage, but MBAs are typically the people who have several years experience go back into the MBA and then leverage it forward. So in finance, there are multiple entry-level jobs that are always being recruited, simply because of the nature of the job opportunities. Working in an IBM, or working in a Goldman Sachs, working at a Citicorp or a Bank of America, or working in a small startup, they all need finance. So there's a plethora of opportunities available for students who come out with a BS in finance. Probably the opportunities that exist out there for all the students. Okay. No matter what your skill sets, you can find a right avenue to approach. You might be a sales and marketing person. You can get into selling financial products. Big upside, big money. You could be a big quantitative person. You can get into equity research or investment banking. really runs the full spectrum, full opportunity there for the students. And I guess secondarily is seeing the evolution of students from when they first come in, start studying finance at the B Corps level, to seeing where they are when they're leaving and going to work out in the business world, what they've accumulated over their years here studying finance and what they're leaving with. Well, we have two faculty undergrad liaisons, Tom Nelson and myself, and we are both people who come from industry, who've been outside, who haven't just come up in the traditional academic realm, and we handle a lot of that type of consulting with students as far as career opportunities, career paths, and we'll do stuff as far as helping with point them in job searches, and helping with resumes, and basically all those things that juniors and seniors in finance want to get lined up to help them in that next stage in their lives.